Hello and welcome to TRT World special coverage on the 50th anniversary of the Cyprus peace operation. I'm Ayse Suberker. Tonight I will speak with a group of distinguished guests during this panel as we'll try to dwell into the Cyprus issue to understand the core reasons behind this conflict and what the future holds for this very divided island. But before moving on with the discussion, let me introduce to you my guests. Emete Gozuguzelli, Associate Professor at the Faculty of Law at Ankara Social Sciences University, TRNC campus. Yucel, Professor of International Law at Ankara Yildirim Beyazit University. Zuhal Mert Uzuner, a Professor at Marmara University and Director at the International Relations Research Center. And Huseyin, Isiksal, Special Advisor of International Relations and Diplomacy to the President of the TRNC. Just a reminder, I would really like to hear some audience engagement during this at the actually end of this panel. So maybe you might start thinking of your questions for the end of the panel. So welcome you all again, ladies and gentlemen. Huseyin, could you give us a sense of the atmosphere that was prevailing in the island, on this island, right before Türkiye decided to intervene? I mean, what did the situation look like back then?
First of all, welcome to the Turkish Cypriots of Northern Cyprus. It's so nice to see you at the presidency. Well, one of the biggest lies about the Cyprus issue and one of the things that Greek propaganda machine always spreading is Cyprus problem started in 1974. But actually the Cyprus problem started in 1963. What happened, basically speaking, Turkish Cypriots, who are the equal partners of Republic of Cyprus, where they exactly have the same rights with the Greek Cypriots, they kick out, they expelled from the Republic of Cyprus by the use of force. Then for 11 dark years, the Turkish Cypriots deprived from all kinds of state services. They were under the very harsh times, harsh pressure. So actually the Greek Cypriot government, their activities, their practices tantamount to the genocide. We can easily call this as a genocide. But what was the last drop actually? On 15 July 1974, there was a military coup which is sponsored by the Greek junta government under the Nikos Samson. And when they make this military coup against Makarios, the Greek Cypriot leader, then all the legal and political conditions for the peace operation was ready.
So Emete, could you talk to us about the significance of this operation, which came just 5 days after the military coup, as Huseyin mentioned? What did Türkiye look to achieve with this two-phased operation, and how has that played out?
It is a very important question because we have seen that the Greek Cypriot side always tries to show that the problem, it's an invasion. It's not reflects the realities. Firstly, international community should diagnose the real issue, what happened. They should know that. They should diagnose. If you look at the historical past, Huseyin explained that actually many things, but the main reason during that time, the annihilation program and the massacres and the genocide was used against the Turkish Cypriots, and Türkiye intervened the island for protection the human rights of the Turkish Cypriots, as well as the providing the peace on the island for Greek and Turkish Cypriots.
Yucel, since Türkiye launched this operation in Cyprus, both Türkiye and the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus had faced numerous Western-led sanctions for years, and Lefkoşa still does. So the question is, how justified are these sanctions, and what were Ankara's reasons to enforce the first and fourth articles of the Constitution?
I think most of the decisions have not been justified at all, especially if you look at the General Security Council decisions concerning the Cyprus issue. You know, just after the Turkish peace operation in Cyprus in 1974, we have seen that the decisions were taken at the Security Council to condemn the intervention. Actually, both our colleagues explained that Turkey had no chance to intervene into the island just to protect the human rights of the Turkish community here, actually just to protect the lives of the people here, not only the lives of the Turkish community, I think also the democratic rights of the Greek community on the island. So despite this fact, we have seen that the decisions were taken just to condemn the Turkish peace operation. We have seen similar decisions afterwards. There have been negotiations after the operation, after 1974 up to 1983, when the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus was declared. There were a lot of negotiations between two communities. But unfortunately, the Greek side, especially Greece, just to mobilize the other countries to pressure on the Turkish side and Türkiye to accept its own demands. Otherwise, they actually carried out propaganda against Turkish intervention. Because of these propaganda situation, actually, the Security Council and then the other institutions, especially in Europe, started to take decisions which are actually not quite, friendly against Turkish presence on the island.
So, Zuhal, throughout those years, numerous UN Security Council resolutions failed, including the most significant ones, the 2004 Annan Reunification Plan and Crans-Montana talks in 2017. So when you take a look at these failures, do you think things could have been done differently?
Of course, we can find some important details to understand all these processes because, first of all, who are in the table, so what kind of personalities they were, how they approached the issue can be considered as influential. But on the other side, we must understand that there are some very critical and very difficult points. Why I say them, they are difficult because it's difficult to change these positions in Greek side and also in Turkish side. From that perspective, I think there is no point to say that something can be done to solve that problem very easily. Because, first of all, this problem has two clues. First clue is about finding a fast-track solution for the Cyprus problem according to Greek perspective. So it was related with occupation of the island, unification of the island with Greece through some military interventions. The second track was much more long-term. So it was much more related with elimination of the Turks step by step. So now we see that there are still different modes, different models, plans to do the same thing. So from that perspective, we should understand that this minority considerations about Turkish Cypriots did not change in the mindset of Greek Cypriot side. That's why it's really difficult to change this track.
Yes. Just to confirm what you said, today, Greek Cypriot leader has said they will never accept a two-state solution as we're marking the 50th anniversary of this peace operation. So, Huseyin, how significant was the Greek Cypriot sector's admission into the European Union right after the rejection of the Annan plan, and how has that changed the balances on the island as well as Turkey's relations with the Western world?
Well, it affects them very deeply, actually, because this decision is the most paradoxical decision ever taken by the European Union. They discard all the fundamental principles of where the European Union claim to possess. For instance, so-called admission of the defunct state of Republic of Cyprus was all against all the international agreements. It was against the Establishment Treaty. It was against the Guarantor Treaty. Cyprus cannot be member of any organization where Turkey and Greece cannot be member. The consent of Turkish Cypriots were never taken, and it was against a Balladur Stability Pact, where a country who pretend that they are having 37% they are possessing their sovereignty over the lands which they don't have, and still, although there's all these problems, they acceded to the EU. Well, with this decision, with this paradoxical decision, European Union became a site they completely lost their chance to be arbitrator or play any observatory role in the Cyprus issue, because now they are the defenders of the Greek arguments. And on the other hand, naturally, this will also have a very negative implications on Turkey-EU relations, because as I said, now Turkey has to face not only Greek veto, but also Greek Cypriot veto in every matters. And this will definitely negatively affect the two sides' relations. But my argument is the European Union, especially major state, they shouldn't let Greek Cypriots to use European Union for their own causes, for their own policies, because they are exploiting European Union for their own arguments. And in this equilibrium, if you are asking who is the loser, it's not the Turkish side. It's the European Union who is losing, because you cannot go unnoticed Türkiye, which have such a strong geopolitical position, such a strong military position, such a strong political influence over the region. So it's up to Europeans to decide whether they want to be influential actor in international affairs, or they will be limited regional actor.
So Emete, as Huseyin mentioned, Turkey stalled membership with the European Union, and the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus's continued isolation pushed Ankara to diversify its alternatives for the past several years. We know that Turkey has been pushing to get international recognition for the TRNC, including through international platforms like IOC and the OTS, of which the TRNC is an observer member. So how has that drive played out so far? And I have to ask this question: what's holding these states back from recognizing Lefkoşa?
Yes, actually, it is time to recognition. Why our president, Ersin Tatar, declared to the international community, it is time to two-state solution. Because we, as Turkish Cypriots, used our rights for on the people of will. We have shown our people of will in the 1963, and from that time, when we declared our independence, it is seen that the TRNC is a state, real state, with its permanent population, with its government, with its capacity to enter relations, with its also defined territory. So it is so accepted state. If you look at the International Convention, Montevideo Convention, it explains what is the main conditions for to be at least as a state.
Yucel, the UN's newly appointed envoy to Cyprus has recently urged both leaders on this island to move forward to revive the efforts on peace talks. But how was it received, do you think, by both countries? And is there still a common ground between both nations to restart these talks?
Yeah, I think to understand what the future holds for settlement of Cyprus dispute, I think we should look at the history of the negotiations for the settlement. You know, always the Turkey and the Turkish side wanted to establish a common state here in which Greeks and Turks live together, but on the basis of equality. Legal and political equality is indispensable. You know, there is two communities on this island, not one. So any kind of state, a joint or common state, should have equality for both communities. Unfortunately, it was not well received by the Greek side, simply because they just considered that this island belongs to Greeks only, and there is no Turkish community as a real community. And these people, the Turks living on this island, are received as a minority, a simple minority. And it's against the realities of history.
So this is a dead end?
Yeah, this is a dead end. And
so are you of the view that this island will remain divided forever?
I think it should be, you know, based on a different kind of solution now. You know, the last stage in the negotiations was in Grand Montana in 2017. The same problems have been discussed, and the Greeks just left the table, just not to accept the Turkish community as an equal partner of any kind of possible joint state.
Yes.
So Turkey and Turkish community decided on that point that any kind of solution, if there would be, should be based on two states. Because we have clearly understood that two communities cannot establish a common state simply because the Greeks
Yes.
does not consider Turkish community as a real community. So that's why I think whatever happens in the future, what kind of solutions would be found should be based on two states and should be based on political and legal equality.
So Zuhal, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Greek Prime Minister Mitsotakis have recently met for the second time in less than 2 months at the NATO summit in Washington, D.C. And they said they want to keep up the pace of what they call a positive agenda between the two countries. So the question is, could Türkiye and Greece's normalization efforts help spur both sides on the islands to re-engage?
In my idea, the Cyprus question is the most difficult part of this relationship, yes. So the positive agenda actually depends on starting from much easier parts of this relationship. That's why when you look at the content, they are much more related with increase of economic trade and capacity, so much more tourism, so opening up the borders for the short-term visa application for the Turkish citizens, this kind of things. But going beyond is tightly connected to increase of the trust and the confidence building. So how it will happen is really problematic. When we look at the latest explanations coming from the Greek side, so it is obvious that about this, the 15th year of this, the peace operation of Türkiye into the island. So it's obvious that still there's a huge sensitivity about Cyprus issue. And also, I see another very critical and important thing to underline. Maybe the Greek Cypriot side is not so happy about this positive agenda approach of Greek government because it's not tightly connected to Cyprus problem and resolution of the Cyprus problem. Because by putting Cyprus problem as a precondition for the bilateral relations, so it is, as you mentioned before, it's a kind of dead end. So let's start from much easier part to go for the
tougher ones. So they're saying we're obviously witnessing shifting power balances, especially in this region. So is there going to be a need to finally resolve this issue, or do you think both sides and other outside players prefer the status quo as Cyprus's geopolitical importance has gained more significance?
Well, that's a very difficult question. I will need another 3 hours to answer this question. But basically speaking, for me, one of the main problems, what we are witnessing is many nations cannot accept the coexistence. You know, they think that if they establish hegemony over the other, if they silence the other side, if they don't recognize their differences, it will be better. But what we've seen in the Gaza tragedy, what we've seen in other parts of the world, actually, if you recognize each other and if you recognize each other's sovereignty and they have a right to exist, maybe we can find an easier solution to the most of the problems. So the realities on the region is very clear. Türkiye is the strongest nation in the Eastern Mediterranean. It has the longest shore. It has the strongest army. And the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus is a very key state in terms of location, in terms of its capacity, in terms of its future. So I don't think any actors, either within the region or outside of the region, can go unnoticed of Turkish power. So the Turkish position is from the very beginning is very clear. We never want fight. We never want to expand our sovereignty to the other side. All we want is respect. All we want is to, keep our sovereignty, keep our coexistence, and have good neighborly relations with our Greek neighbors. That's why our president proposed 6 cooperative relations to the Greek side. So my overall answer is that when you look at the policy that Turkish side is practicing, which is a very balancing between the Eastern world and the Western world, I don't think any outside power will think that, when you marginalize the Turkish side, it will be better. So I think that it's every single day, it's now becoming more achievable, more understandable for the other actors as well that, the Turks has a sovereign rights on this island, and somehow these rights should be protected.
Now, if you will, I would like to turn to our audience to see if they have any questions for our guests.
So I wanted to ask some.
Could you introduce yourself first?
So I am Mert. I'm 26 and I'm a dentist. So my question is, as we are going through the two-state solution right now, how and why? Like my question is this: why we think that they're going to come to our side with two-state solution, and how we are going to achieve this? I wanted to ask this question.
Well, I mean, the former Greek foreign minister, Mr. Rolandis, he confessed that we Greek Cypriots rejected all the comprehensive solution plans thus far. And he given them in detail. He said that we rejected 1960 agreements by changing the constitution. You know, we rejected all the agreements on the way. And then we rejected, you know, Annan plan, which is what we use. And then we rejected, you know, Crown Montana. The thing is, Einstein put it perfectly. The madness is to repeat the same things and expect different results. So there is something wrong, you know, from the very beginning till today, there's something wrong. What is wrong is that our Greek partners never accept us as equal partners. They don't want to share power and prosperity with us. This is so obvious. So we should look out of the box. Yeah, we should look for the other alternative solutions. So the only solution that put forward by our leader is two-state solution. And the Greek Cypriots actually have many benefits from this solution. With a simple calculation, they can make billions of euros from this solution. Let me give you a few examples. First of all, they can normalize their relations with the Republic of Türkiye. Normalizing your relations with the Republic of Türkiye, have a mutual recognition, will make enormous incentives for the Greek Cypriots in terms of tourism, in terms of trade, in terms of using Turkish harbor, Turkish airports, etc., etc. Second thing that comes to my mind automatically, the Greek Cypriots have millions of euros spending on the military budget. So this will integrate it to the economy. Normalizing of the relations will also help psychological, you know, problems of the Greek Cypriot community, because they are living a dream. They are living in the past. They still have this psychology, which is unfortunately fueling by the church, fueling by the education system, that they are owning the island. The island is a Greek Hellenic island. So this view is poisoning the Greek Cypriot community. So we need normalization. We need to accept the facts on the ground. We don't want to continue on virtual reality. We have to find a solution on factual realities. And the factual reality is very clear.
Yes.
We got two states on the island, and every day thousands of Greek Cypriots who are passing the boundaries, they welcome by our flags, they welcome by our police, and you know, they have a very good time on the north. So all we have to do is to normalize what is happening on the ground. So if the Greek Cypriots can think with rationality, not with their heart, with their rationality, and when they calculate the benefits of normalizing relations with the TRNC, normalizing relations with the Türkiye, I am sure that they will come to the, you know, the common point that we can have very good neighborly relations as the Turkish side, as the Greek side, and in the future we can talk about the different alternatives.
Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Rüyam. I'm 39. Women's not say normally. Yes, I'm trying to be a businesswoman in Cyprus. And I want to ask questions, Professor Uzuner. You know, history repeats itself, and this is a very important sentence for us. My country 50 years ago saw the war, and we are lucky because Türkiye was with us. But today, Palestine not have same chance, and I don't want to have same destiny with them. But at the same time, I don't want to live under the embargo anymore. So my question is, in these conditions, how we will success to recognize TRNC? Thank you.
Very briefly, Professor, please.
Yes, thank you. First of all, the situation in Cyprus today is more than being a minority or considering Turkish Cypriots as a minority. Today, there is a bigger problem. Now, Turkish Cypriots are recognized as Turks and Turks of Türkiye. So now there is a much, let's say, bigger problem beyond the beginning of the Cyprus problem. Why I refer that it is somehow similar to what is experienced in Palestine. So if your existence is not recognized in many ethnic wars, we can see that, and it's very expectable to see repetition of this problem. So from that perspective, I think, first of all, Turkey's operation was, I agree with you, it was a very important chance for Turkish Cypriots. Today we see if there is no such kind of the power to support a group, a weaker group, against a much powerful actor, what could be the result we can see today in case of Gaza. So about recognition of TRNC, I think, yes, it's very important because, first of all, any group of people needs a kind of security connection with any kind of state. If there is no security feeling of individuals and citizens with state, so it is weak and it is a potential source of conflict. So that's why today Greek Cypriot side's policies are supporting much more conflict, and it is much more necessary to understand there is a requirement for the recognition of TRNC as a state for this feeling of security and connection of citizenship with the state.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. I would very much like to thank my guests, Huseyin, Emete, Zuhal, and Yucel, and also the audience. And we have come to the end of this special coverage on the 50th anniversary of the Cyprus peace operation. Thank you for watching us, and bye for now.